Hey there, this is Beth, your sweet Herbin Livin lady, and things have been a little bit rough at Sweet Herbin Livin in the Hovis household these past few weeks. If you can't tell, I'm congested, sneezy, coughy. The runny nose has kind of stopped, not quite so runny anymore, but yeah, just it's been rough for me, rough for my family. And today, what I want to share with you is what I did. This past week, I have been, really sick, and I've got several little homeopathic remedies and suggestions, herbals to share with you. If you are going through whatever this is that's going around, and there are different kind of flu viruses that are affecting people. Different, maybe you got I got like cold-like symptoms is what I got. It affected my sinuses. You can kind of hear it settling in my lungs a little bit. I was exposed to it because I went and helped my kids. My daughter and her husband and their 4 kids were all just so sick. And I'd do it again. Let me tell you, I would go help them again in a heartbeat, knowing I would still deal with all of this. And this was one of the worst experiences I have had in my life that I can remember. I've been sick before with the flu and felt like I was dying. And I can remember in like my early 30s being so sick one time, it was just horrible. And then maybe about, because it was before COVID, so maybe about 7, 8 years ago, having the flu really, really bad. And a lot of times people think that if you're a natural health lover, and if you use natural supplements and stuff like that, that you're not going to get sick, or you're somehow not going to be affected by what's going around. And guess what? I was. And so were my kids and grandkids and stuff like that. And so I'm just sharing this because if you're going through this and you're going, yeah, this is horrible, or my family members, this is horrible, what can I do to help? I've got some hints for you. I've got at least 3 that helped me, and I've got some other things that I'm going to show you, herbals and supplements and stuff like that I use. Okay, I'm just going to show you what I did. But not only did I go in and help my daughter and her husband and their kids. This is, it can be different, but I keep hearing whatever this is, whatever flu this is, whatever it is hitting hard, and it's affecting so many people. And my granddaughter, my son's 2-year-old daughter, ended up in the hospital Christmas Eve morning. She was admitted. Her mom had taken her to the pediatrician, was told it was just an earache, bad earache. I say just an earache. It was a very bad earache. And she ended up taking her to the emergency room. That would have been the 23rd, that evening, even though they had just been to see the pediatrician. And sure enough, they transferred them to CHOA, to Scottish Rite in Atlanta. Because she had pneumonia, and it was bad. It was bad. She did not get out until, I don't know how many days later, but it was over a week that she spent in the hospital. My son had bronchitis. Their other 2 kids got sick, just not as bad. Enough of telling what it was like. But I'm going to tell you what happened first is, like I said, my daughter and her husband were really sick. And me going and taking care of them meant that I could no longer. I went and saw my granddaughter in the hospital on Christmas Day. But after that, because then when my daughter and her husband sent out the SOS, and let me tell you, my daughter's husband is a good man, and he takes care of his family. And for him to send out an SOS saying, I can't do this, we need help, you know that he's not feeling good. And sure enough, he was in a bed with a really bad headache. I don't know if he ever vomited or anything like that, but the kids were. So, and Jenna, because of her ongoing chronic complex illness, and she deals with POTS and stuff like that. And I have her story. If you are interested in her story, we did a video on that, and you can watch that. So I won't go into all the details of everything that she deals with, but she can take care of her kids, but she can't do things for prolonged periods of time. So there was no way that she could take care of her husband and 4 kids. So I braved the lion's den, and I went in, and Saturday, spent that night. Sunday I went home, and then I went back on Monday. And Monday is when I started to feel a little tickle in my throat. And I was like, and I started to do just this little bit of cough. And I was really hoping that I wasn't going to get sick. All right, so I've been in the natural health field for a really long time, right? So I have homeopathic remedies. I don't know if you can see this. You can see this label. It's an old label. Newton Homeopathic Medicine has been around for, 30 years or something like that. And this is one of those, Rustox, one of the things I use. I'll tell you about it. So I knew I was going into what I call the lion's den. I knew that I was going in with myself already a tired system. Okay, I knew I was going in and I was going to be exposed, but I was going in having been working on my health. Okay, a lot of stress, I'm postmenopausal, cortisol levels are up, stress levels are up. So I already knew that I was a little bit compromised. So I went in and I was taking my herbs, and I would still do it again. Because I don't think any of this failed. I think this was just, I was already on the fatigued sign, overstressed, and I had been working to support that. And I'm really not trying to belabor a point, y'all. I'm trying to get to what I was doing. But I'm just letting you know, it's like people say, well, herbs, then the herbs didn't work. All I can think is I've used herbs for long enough to know that usually these are the kind of things that I take them and they keep me going and I don't go under. So I think it was just very nasty bug, if we want to call it that. And exposure, I'll tell you all that I did. The exposure level was just really high. And I'm 61 years old. And I do a lot. So my immune system wasn't, the defenses may not have been up as high as they could have been, okay? But I was taking VSC by Nature Sunshine. VSC is a blend of traditional Chinese herbs that help build the immune system, help keep at bay different things, is known to help fight off viruses. So it was a really good choice. And it's one of those that most of the time, if I'm taking VSC, I don't get sick. And that's one of those things that's really funny is if I even start to get symptoms and I'm like, I'm not getting sick, I'm not getting sick. My whole family knows I'm not getting sick. I got sick. Okay, so I was doing VSC and I was also taking, and I wasn't doing it all at the same time, okay? I was spreading it out, but I was also taking elderberry defense because I have not had a chance to make my own elderberry syrup this year. Now, usually I do like to make my own elderberry syrup. I've got elderberries set aside. I just haven't done that this year. So I need to still do that, but in a pinch, and I went to my capsules, my elderberry defense. Okay, so I was taking that, and I know there's a lot of word on the street these days that vitamin D3, you shouldn't supplement with vitamin D3. This is a plant-based vitamin D3 plus DK. And I use my AO scan. I've talked about that in other videos too. I use my AO scanner that helps to scan the frequencies in my body to see where I may need support. And I was already needing D3. And the thing is this D3 is such a controversial, don't take it, it's not natural, it's all this. Well, this is a plant source of vitamin D3. So it's vegan, algae sourced. Okay, so it's natural. So I was taking my D3. Okay, So I also took colloidal silver. Now this is colloidal silver. This is Silver Shield by Nature's Sunshine. And this is one of those that it helps, to push out viruses and stuff like that. So I was armed up, right? And I thought, hey, maybe I won't be so bad. But, I was washing laundry. I was holding hair back while my granddaughter was sick. I was cleaning up. I was doing all those kind of things for 3 days. So I come home on Monday. I'm there on Monday, feel the tickle in my throat, and sure enough, it's like, And like I said, it was rough. I felt so bad. It was like, not only did I start with this, what we call a hawking cough. I mean, it was like there was not like congestion in my lungs. You can hear me. You can hear me in my sinuses. I'm congested still. And I could feel, I was like, it hurt to cough. And I had sharp pains, like into my nose, to the nerves in the nose and into my eyes. And the pressure behind my eyeballs was making my eyes water, and the congestion. First, I was congested on the right side. And so all of these things were going on. The reason I showed you the rust tox is because when I woke up, I can't remember if it was Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning, my muscles were so sore and stiff. Stiffness was one of the things I was dealing with, one of the symptoms I was dealing with, and rust tox is known to help with stiffness. And so I took that, and it helped get rid of the stiffness. Now I also have some what we call cherry plum, like rice socks, but you use cherry pits inside. I said cherry plum. I use cherry pits inside. So I have a cherry pit pillow that I can warm in the microwave, and I have 2 of them. So I used them along the long sides of my hips and my lower back and stuff like that. So that helped with that. And I have my own I have a lot of homeopathic remedies that I have. And so I went through my homeopathics, and this time that little tickle was the Rumex crispus. And then the next one I needed was, I think, Hepersulf. And then as the symptoms progressed, I knew I needed like Brionia, and because that really helped. Well, so one of the things I'm looking at here is like the Materia Medica that explains, like exceedingly irritable in the head. You might have vertigo, faintness on rising, confusion, bursting, splitting headache, like a hammer within. I didn't want to look at anybody. Rob, my husband, would talk to me. Mr. Sweet would talk to me and ask me a question. And I would be like, don't make me turn my head. Don't make me look at you. Don't make me, that kind of thing. Aching in the forehead, shooting pains, things like that. Roaring, buzzing in the ears. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was just eyes pressing, crushing, aching, pain. It was like, yes. And so I was taking that, but I was still dealing with like the hawking cough. And okay, so I'm like, okay, what I'm doing in these little single remedies is helping a little bit, but I need something more. So I sent my husband to the store because I didn't have this. Now, when I owned an herb shop, this is the kind of stuff that I would keep on my shelf, and this is the kind of stuff I would recommend. So this is Boron's Chestol. And this was my golden ticket right here. Now, not only did I have him get this, I also had him get the Sambucus as well. You can see because it's helps with cough and cold relief. So this has the Brionia in it. Let's see what all it has. So antimonium. So that was one of the things I took as a single. Brionia. I need new glasses. My new lenses are at the eye doctor waiting for me to pick them up, but I couldn't go pick them up because I was sick. Cocos cacti, Drosera, Apicacum pulsatilla, Rumix crispus, that's one that I needed. Spongiatosta, that's one that I considered. And I think that's silica. I can't, like I said, I need to. So this, by combining all of those together, this has worked wonders for me. This has been amazing. This was also helpful. So this is just Sambucus by itself, but it does help with that painful cough. You can hear I'm a little hoarse, so I need to take my remedy. And the nasal congestion. So I'm still taking these, even though, it sounds bad. It was a whole lot worse. Now, I also took mullein. You know that I have videos on mullein and growing mullein and rescuing my mullein, and this is not one that I made myself. This is a friend of mine made this, and I ran out of the ones that I had made. Need to make some more. But so mullein tincture, because it helps with the lungs. So I'm still continuing to do things to support my immune system, including citrus bioflavonoids. And as you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but if you can look at that, there's not much left. I've gone through this entire bottle just about, and I don't know how I would have felt. Honestly, I just don't know how I would have felt without having the Chestol and the Sambucus cough and cold, because it was rough. It was so rough. So what I'm telling you is, now some of these, I also want to share this. My husband's doing the oscillococcinum. So we just call it oscillo for short. It's oscillococcinum or oxylococcinum. And this is one of those things. At the very first sign, I didn't have this on hand, should have had it on hand. On the very first sign that you're not feeling good, you want to start taking this. It helps with body aches, headache, fever, chills, and fatigue. Now, I didn't have fever and chills, okay? But I did have, as you can see what they're telling you, how it supports you. Cough and cold, painful cough. That's what I had, painful cough, hoarseness, nasal congestion. So the cough isn't so painful anymore. And the Chestol and the Sambucus are helping with that. Sambucus so I'm sticking with those, and my husband is doing the oscillococcinum. So homeopathic remedies, if you have never used homeopathic remedies, I really encourage you to check these out. They are great. Now, what I want to recommend is that you read what they're for. Search what they're for, because like I said, this one was not my symptoms. I didn't have a fever or chill. Now, I felt fatigue, and while I had a little bit of a headache at times, that was not those weren't the defining symptoms. The defining symptoms for me were the horrible cough and the painful cough, the hoarseness, the nasal congestion. It would move from side to side, the stinging pain, the watery eyes, all that. So that's what worked for me. So I encourage you to check out homeopathic remedies. Continue to take your herbs. That's one of those things where my stomach wouldn't tolerate taking herbs, a lot of them. So I had to let those go and focus on homeopathic remedies. If this is something that you're going, hey, this may be my answer, I really recommend you check it out. You can find these things on Amazon. You can go to your local Sprouts or Whole Foods. You can go to your local small herb shop. Please support your small businesses. Your local herb shop, find them and support them there. But if you can't find it locally, then they are available on Amazon and you can get them there. And I just hope that this helps you or someone you love, because man, like I said, I don't know what I would have done, because these brought relief. I could feel it bringing the relief when I took them. So I hope y'all are all warm and well this winter. What a way to bring in the new 2026, right? But it's okay. I'm getting better. I've got other videos coming your way soon, and I will talk to y'all later.